Hey, I've been dealing with a lot of unhappy, angry youngins, and it helped me to think about the concept of taking accountability because a lot of people in this world are not accountable for their actions and the way they make people feel. And when it comes down to it, we're not responsible about how we make people feel, but the way that you present yourself to people affects the way that they feel. So by saying we're not responsible for the way that we make people feel, it's a cop out for people that know what they're doing, but insist on doing it their way. They go through life hurting people, lying to people, manipulating people, using people, whatever it is. I've encountered many people that don't deserve the kind of love that I offer, that unconditional love. But being who I am, I don't pick and choose. I will show you love. I will let you be seen. I will let you be heard. And today I found myself having to tell a kid, you keep lying because everybody would say something and I didn't do that. That's not true. I don't have that. I don't and just always this combative nature, right? And in the end, this little boy is only 8 years old, flips me the bird. And this shows where our youth is at because I've met more children like this, full of hate, anger, bitterness, than loving, compassionate, and trusting. And I get it. Kids are being thrown into schools and daycares and don't even see their families. And they don't know who to trust. So they lash out and act out, and nobody's holding them accountable. But these are children, not adults. So I'm coming to the adults, asking you to lead by example, to start holding yourself accountable because the product that is coming from this adult generation, there's no excuse for it. My grandparents worked their fingers to the bone trying to provide for their children, teaching them with love and compassion, teaching them to care about their neighbors and helping out someone in need. But for some reason, this new world that we live in, this new generation, nobody feels they need to put forth the effort. And it's as simple as holding yourself accountable. Know how you're presenting yourself to the children of the world because they're lost. They're confused. They're angry. They're conflicted. And they're lashing out left and right on their classmates, their parents, their teachers, everybody that can't give them a whooping, let's say. Someone that can't put them in their place and put fear in their heart. And that's really not how we need to be raising anybody in this world. Physical abuse, physical reactions do not teach lessons. It is being patient and listening. It is asking questions so you can guide them. It is starting to understand where they're coming from so you can see where they're going. But you have to be truthful with yourself about where you've come from, what you're willing to put forth. And it seems like everybody's still in this party mindset. Oh, I don't have time for you. I'm busy. And in reality, what are you doing? Sitting on the couch, watching TV, sedating your mind? Because I know a lot of people that do this. I know a lot of people that party with their friends every weekend. I have a lot of family that does it. Says, oh, we're busy. Can't reach out to somebody in need. Can't reach out to somebody who's hurting. Can't reach out to anybody that's healing because so busy trying to do their own thing. And that's cool. Do your own thing. But don't come back around. Because a lot of people, when you're flying high, they want on that bandwagon. But when you're struggling and suffering, they're like, I'm busy. Go back to the drinking and partying, right? But These are the people that are not rearing their children to make a prosperous future. These are the people that are damning the next generation on a spiritual level. And it hurts. It really sucks to sit here and deal with 29 different kids and all these personalities. And it's sad because I see it more in the boys than I see it in the girls. The girls are more submissive. The boys are more abusive. But that also boils down to, how do we treat our young soon-to-be men? What are we teaching our young soon-to-be women? Do we forget that they're going to continue to grow and that they have to have lessons? I remember growing up and there was that golden rule on the wall: do unto others as you would have them do unto you. And nobody's teaching this anymore. I see it in the behavior. I see it in the lack of accountability. I see it in the lack of compassion. And it really irks my soul to have to come here and keep talking to, I don't know how many people hear me, because you can hear me, but it doesn't mean you understand me. You can hear, but not comprehend. And it needs to be, the comprehension level needs to rise up in the adults that exist in this world, because I've seen more adults acting like children than I have seen children acting like children. I've seen more children taking on the role and responsibility of an adult, and everything is just in this big chaotic storm. Children can't even enjoy life anymore because of the lack of accountability, the lack of understanding, the lack of guidance. And who's doing that to them? Anybody? The guardians, the protectors, the leaders. You can see it in the movies that are created. You can see it in the way that governments are structured. You can see it in the imbalance in the workplace. That the workers work their ass off, and the ones who make the schedule and own the business are sitting like fat cats, not caring. They're not being held accountable. And a lot of that has to do with the fact that people need their jobs. None of us want to work menial, dead-end tasks. None of us want to deal with chaos and stress and a lack of structure on a daily basis. But we have to do it to support ourselves and have these pretty boxes called homes. But for what purpose? Because in the end, there's no unity in the home. And you can tell that because, like I said, the lack of accountability. That you can sit there and tell somebody, you're blatantly lying to me, I can see it. And they have an excuse, just firing them off. I had to tell one kid today, you spend so much time trying to make excuses for your behavior, and you would be better off just telling the truth. Not everybody can sit there and be a human lie detector. But if you learn to pay attention, if you hold yourself accountable, then you can start to see the truth that's around you. You can start to see where things are failing because maybe you're not holding yourself accountable. Maybe you're not holding your children accountable. Maybe you're not holding a system that's failing accountable. And it's going to be, at some point, everyone's going to have to speak up. And I'm not looking for a riot. I'm not even looking for peasants to revolt. What I'm looking for is fairness and justice. And the one thing that I have fought for, and I will continue to fight for, is justice, especially for the young ones and for nature. Because we're at a point right now, the imbalance is so great that it's that toxicity that is consuming everything and everybody. And that comes from a lack of accountability. So if at any point you find that your life is difficult and you're dealing with all of these things like, I didn't mean it like that. I didn't want to say it like that. Or you're having to excuse your behavior, always going, I'll figure it out. It's going to come to me. I don't know why. Just excuse. Start looking if you're holding yourself accountable. Because I've been even having to reach out to people to say, I'm sorry how I handled that. I could have handled that better. I've worked very hard on learning to handle my emotions differently because I can't control anything. But I can handle the way that I react. As a parent, if you're short all the time, constantly, what's wrong with you? Are you stupid? If you're tearing someone down and demeaning them, do you think you're building them up? And this is where accountability comes in, and truth is required in the matter. That you are responsible for your clones, your carbon copies you have created. You are responsible for making them stand up taller, holding their head high, knowing that they're worth more than whatever the system has to offer them. It's on you to start guiding them, leading them, showing them by example. And that's a sacrifice on your part. Yeah, that's being a fucking adult. That is being a guardian. That is being a parent. Sacrifice. They deserve it. You're owed nothing. They should be promised the world. They should be promised a future. Because at this point, their future's so bleak, they don't even see the point in caring or loving for anyone. They don't know it. They don't feel it. Why would they show it? Because children are sponges. They will show you exactly who you are. And if you're busy saying my child wouldn't do that, you're lying about yourself still. You're lying about the reality of the situation that you're a fucking asshole. And yeah, I'm probably triggering some people right now. And if your kids are out there trying to make the world a better place, thank you. Thank you so much for putting a little sacrifice in your life because you understand your role. Even if you're not the parent, but you're seeing that light in the children that you've helped mold and create. Thank you. And to all the assholes out there, get your head out of your fucking ass. Party's over and it's time to buck up. It is time to pay the Pied Piper for your misdeeds. Because at this point, I would have to say karma's here to protect a lot of babies in this world. They have done nothing wrong, and they are being shown a path that is not fruitful. I don't like having to bring these messages, but I'm tired of seeing the truth of what I'm seeing in the world around me. It's not acceptable. It's never been acceptable. But at some point, everyone seemed to accept toxic, negative, angry behavior because those that were meek and loving stepped back a little more and a little more and a little more. And yeah, maybe due to fear, maybe due to the bullying, maybe due to the hatred that was fired back at them. But it's a weak-minded individual that does not hold themselves accountable. It takes strength and courage to call yourself out. And I'll tell you, either you start calling yourself out or you're going to be pissed off at the fucking world. Because if someone else is calling you out, you feel like you're being attacked and targeted. No, someone found the courage to call you out for what you were. Selfish, entitled, arrogant, boastful, prideful. What is it you think you deserve? What is it you think is owed to you? Because nobody's promised anything in this world but the ability to wake up, go to sleep, wake up, exist. You're promised nothing more than that. And it's on you to decide, what am I going to do with my life? Am I going to hold myself accountable or am I going to keep making excuses? Am I going to keep misguiding the next generation or am I going to stand up and speak the truth at any cost? because there's a lot to lose when you're the only one telling the truth, especially when you're in the den of thieves and liars, because they think they have the world duped. They think they've pulled the wool over everyone's eyes. So if that's the case, here I am, Visine for the soul. And hopefully that will hit somebody's ears that needs to learn the lesson, spread the message, share however you need to do it. Hold yourself accountable. Because like I said, I have seen enough. My heart has cried enough for the innocent ones that don't deserve to be reared and guided in the direction in which they're going, which is failure, hopelessness, anger, violence, war on themselves, war on the world around them, because nothing makes sense. There's no one to trust. There's no leaders to follow. So hopefully somebody will stand up and start leading in the appropriate manner, because it takes a village to raise the next generation. At what point do we unite again? Going to leave it on that note because I know I asked quite a few questions, and hopefully some people will let that ruminate in their minds and try to make sense of it rather than get triggered and be like, "Ah, fuck you. You don't know what I go through." Been there, done that. I've walked the road of hell so many times, it's ridiculous. So hopefully somebody will hold themselves accountable. I know every day I try to, because that's the only thing I can do to help guide my children to be useful, loving, caring citizens in a world they didn't ask to be born into. So, like I said, leave it on that note, and peace, love, and light. Bye-bye.